Inter get a statement win in the race for the Scudetto. Arsenal are trying to get back in the title race.
We had two ridiculous comebacks by Barcelona and Leverkusen. All this and more on the episode 53 of the No Business Soccer Podcast. Snooze, kick us off.
Let's dig in. Yes.
Yeah, just letting y'all know, everyone. Snooze is trying to get me to say bad words on this podcast. You put some stuff in my list.
I didn't this time. I did not this time. The past two times I did, but one day I'll get you. Welcome back to the No Business Soccer Podcast. I'm your host, Snooze, and we're here with the full fam. We have Brainiac, the J fam, the Brainiac in the back. Also, Danny P on the ones and twos as always, and I think I'm nervous to kick it over to you because he said he has something special for us today. But anyway, everybody's favorite person, Hype Man Vic. What you sipping on, dog?
All I was saying earlier is that we need to get started because I'm getting thirsty and I couldn't show you what I was drinking until we started for this segment right here because you guys will be seeing this on Tuesday, but it is St. Patrick's Day, so I got me a green beer. Green beer. I didn't want them to see it, and yeah.
I lost some money. We were betting over and under if you would actually remember if it was St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah. No, I did.
You did.
There were a few like Irish. I was thinking about doing like an Irish car bomb or like hot
or Irish whiskey.
Like, Irish whiskey. But it's not as cool as this.
That's awesome. Is that so? Did you make it green or was it a green beer?
Yeah, no, I made it green. Look how green that is, bro. Like.
Yeah, you're gonna be pissing green if you put too much of that color.
That was one drop of food coloring. That's crazy. One awesome. Tiny drop.
Well, look at that. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. And just real quick, go ahead and like and subscribe to us on the video, and let us know what you guys thought about these past weekend. We want to talk to you guys, and let's go ahead and get started. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we had a lot that came up this weekend. Some stuff that's heartbreaking for my boy Hype Man Vic over there. But all four leagues were in action, and a little bit of extra with the final going on. We'll talk about that here in a second. And of course, we have to start with boots on the ground in Austin, Texas, with the Austin FC Minute.
Yes. This might be a little bit longer than a minute. There's a lot of stuff that happened with Austin FC. First and foremost, since I think defense wins championships, we're going to talk about Mikel Dessler. He's out 6 to 8 weeks with a hamstring injury.
Oh, I saw that. He must have tore it off the bone. That sucks.
I think so, man. It was pretty bad. He knew kind of immediately, too, whenever he went down. And, it wasn't very good. And, that was last week, so I guess it's 5 to 7 weeks now. But,
there you go.
We'll get in. We're getting there, and we wish him a speedy recovery because he was doing his damn thing out there for a while, and it was pretty nice. For more of our defensive woes, there's a Swedish club, BK Häcken. They are actually looking at our Leo Väisänen as their CB, their center back, got injured and is out for the season. So they are looking at Leo Väisänen, and from what I can tell, they got some pretty intense talks going on and some serious talks. And they were just trying to figure out a number. And, that could be a possibility soon. I know I try not to do rumors, but, there's a bunch of stuff going on with our defense right now. I thought I'd throw it out there. And it seemed pretty plausible as well. With that, also keeping with the defensive part of this segment, John Gallagher makes his team of the match day for the last week. He put Dennis Bouanga? I forgot his last name. Anyway, he put Bouanga in his pocket. Boy, that boy had him the entire match. He was hustling out there. He looked good. And congratulations to John Gallagher for making team of the match day, MLS team of the match day. Almost done. For that game that he is team of the match day, Austin FC wins 1-0 at LAFC. We looked absolutely hungry out there. Our defense was great, pretty much led by John Gallagher. And man, it was so great to watch them. We saw them hungry, and I was telling Snooze and Danny P, I was like, man, I feel like my team's switched because all last year Liverpool looked hungry and just like ready to get out there and just take something and Austin FC just looked like they went out there because it was their job to be out there at a certain time.
100%.
And now it's the exact opposite. Like Liverpool look like they're out there because they're like, oh yeah, we do have a game today. I guess we should go do that. And they're just out on the field. And then Austin FC is just hustling out there. Yeah, it's pretty crazy to see nowadays. And
it was awesome. It was a great game. I remember we were talking about it a little bit, and I didn't get to watch the whole match because it was in the middle of the day, and the time change means that all of the European matches are on until like 5 p.m. now. It gets crazy.
Yeah.
So of course, we had to split up watching duties, but I did watch the final 20 minutes, and I was telling you, like, I remember seeing they went up on, got the app. I was on my phone. Hey, they went up 1-0. Cool. I'm not sure if that'll stay that way for long. But when I finally got to watch it, it didn't feel like we were the lesser team, which was cool, especially going on the road to LAFC. So that was awesome to see. Mm-hmm. And then, they ended up getting 3 points on the road. That's freaking awesome. Whoa. Watch my language here. What am I doing?
Bad words there. What was pretty cool is I saw a post by LAFC afterwards. Olivier Giroud, it was there in attendance watching the game. And who else popped up but Paul Pogba was there.
Hey.
And so they both got to watch Austin FC beat LAFC. It was pretty nice. Good lucky for them, right?
That's cool. I didn't know Pogba was hanging out. Maybe he's trying to go to the MLS. He's about that age. He hadn't played in like 6 years, it feels like. So
maybe he was trying to see how good Austin FC was because he wants to go to Austin FC.
You're right. I mean, I didn't even think about that.
And then one last thing, and then we'll get out of here because this isn't an Austin FC podcast, but there is a special announcement tomorrow by the Austin FC president, Andy Lonane. It's going to be at Q2 Stadium where they make this announcement. So they are saying that it could be the opponent for the MLS All-Star game coming up this year.
All we knew was Real Madrid already, didn't we?
Yeah, we haven't. It hasn't been confirmed as Real Madrid.
Oh, okay, my bad.
But the Real Madrid president was there. There at the game, and that was about the same time that they announced that the MLS All-Star game was going to be in Austin FC. That was last year. All right, Austin. And
worst kept secret ever.
Yeah. So it's either going to be Real Madrid, but there are rumors right now going around saying that it could also be the English national team, which would be pretty crazy. I don't know who.
Nah, there's no way. I
don't know. You wouldn't want to see the English national team here?
Oh, no, I'm saying there's no way that it happened. That'd be cool if it would. Of course, I'd see Harry Kane out there. I would love to. But no.
That would be pretty cool. So who knows what's going to happen? Y'all tune in tomorrow, and I guess we will all find out together. Or you're watching this on Tuesday. Y'all tune in today. Let us know in the comments what it was. And, we'll talk to you guys in the comments. And that is it. We're good with the Austin FC Minute. We're good. And
all right.
We could go ahead and move on.
We do have the full leagues to cover today, minus a couple of games. And so, I don't know when we're going to talk about the Cup final for Liverpool and Newcastle. I guess we'll talk about it when it comes to the Prem because it's kind of apropos for that section of the podcast. So with that said, let's jump in to let's go to Italy, Vic.
Let's do it then. To Serie A.
And we had a hell of a weekend in Italy. And it started off on Friday. Genoa get a 2-1 win over the Milkmen, and Patrick Vieira's boys did it in style with Ukrainian midfielder Malinovsky getting 2 filthy assists. And when I say filthy, I mean filthy. Go watch him. It was awesome. Both the assists were scored by Meretti. I guess I need to put some more. Meretti. If this pair start to link up, Genoa might get better than that 11th place finish they had last season. So watch out. They look really good. On Saturday, Udinese's unbeaten streak, ends at 5 as they lose 1-0 at home to Verona. Udinese dominated the match and came up empty. Some would call that a whiskey dick performance. Verona had lost 4 of 5 prior to this, so it was an unexpected loss for Udinese, but Verona's goal was a perfect free kick from Duda. Parma and Monza split the points in a 1-1 draw. Monza scored first against the run of play, but Parma were able to salvage a draw thanks to a ridiculous, filthy, just disgusting solo goal from Boni. Go check it out. Captain America scores again as Pulisic and co get Milan a 2-1 win over Como. And Reinders was unbelievable with a goal and an assist in this one. But I think the main talking point out of this match, Vic, is Dele Alli's debut, where he was subbed on for the first time in I don't know how long he's been out. He gets in the 81st minute, and he gets a straight red card in stoppage time. So like 10 minutes later, it sucked. When I turned it on to see that he was on the pitch, I was like, my heart, it was happy for a little bit until he like stood on someone's ankle from behind, and then he got sent off. I was just like, okay, well, that sucks. Torino grind out a 1-0 win over Empoli, and it's tough. It's tough on the struggling Empoli because they outplayed Torino for much of the match. It was a sloppy, rainy day in that part of Italy, but Torino were uncharacteristically sloppy. It was really weird to see, but they do get 3 points, so that's all that matters. On Sunday, Napoli and Venezia go 0-0. It's points drop for Napoli, but Venezia have now drawn 4 matches in a row against Napoli, Como, Atalanta, and Lazio, and those are massive, massive results for them, Vic. Bologna dismantled our Lazio 5-0 and put on a show for their home fans. This was a battle for Champions League placement, and Bologna were so impressive. Where the hell has this Bologna team been all season? It's crazy to see it this late in the season, but hey, better late than never. Roma make it 6 wins on the bounce as they get a 1-0 win over Cagliari at Stadio Olimpico. It is unbelievable the job that Claudio Ranieri has done in Roma, and this team is just poised for a bounce back. As far as getting to Europe, maybe they're right there. They're right there. Fiorentina get a 3-0 win over Juve. It was the first time they've beat Juve in Serie A since 2022, and it leaves Juve with back-to-back heavy defeats as they lost 4-0 to Atalanta last weekend. And then Atalanta are down at home 2-0 by Inter, and this was a crazy one. We'll break it down for you in a second. Over to Vic for the table.
Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what came over me. My camera left us, but we are going to look at the table now because Inter Milan are able to extend their lead from 1 point to 3 points. They're in the number 1 spot with 64 points and getting a win this past week. Napoli, with their draw, fall to 61. Well, not really fall. They did get a point, but they're at 61 points now, but that gap is now 3 points between them and the number 1 spot. Atalanta are in the 3rd spot. Now, even though they got a loss, they stay in the 3rd spot. They have 58 points. And then welcome to the top 4, Bologna. They have 53 points with their win. They were able to leapfrog Lazio and Juventus. Congratulations, like you were saying a little bit earlier, Snooze. Good job on them. And if we take a look at the bottom of the table, the teams that would be relegated if the season ended today, you'll find Empoli. They have 22 points. And in the 18th spot, Venezia in the 19th spot with 20 points. They keep their badge, but also the relegation status because they are not in the bottom spot. They'll keep their badge up there. And then Monza, who are doing their best to stay at the bottom spot. They have 15 measly points. They were able to get a draw, but, so was Venezia. So they keep that little gap between them at 5 points. And then we'll talk a little bit more about the top of the table because I know Inter and Atalanta had a big matchup this weekend. And Snooze, I think you're going to tell us all about that.
Yeah, this match was crazy. There's a lot going on in it. For a top of the table clash, you would expect that. But for a game that ended 2-0, it was a pretty evenly fought battle. And when it was 0-0, Inter did look like the sharper side. So overall, they did get the win. But yeah, they felt like the better team for at least before the scoring getting started. And I'll explain what I mean by that. But it all got kicked off in the 54th minute when Çalhanoğlu's corner is headed in by Augusto. And this is where the weird stuff starts, Vic, because right before that corner was taken, there was something happening in the Inter away stands, like a medical emergency or something like that. And Çalhanoğlu just like stops the match and he grabs the ball, rightly so, right? He talks to the ref like, hey, something's going on. And so all the players for like 15 minutes were just like standing on the pitch staring. They didn't stop the game or anything like that. They just like stood there. And in the first, as soon as the ref blows the whistle to start this off, it's the corner, a header, and in. So like virtually the first touch after this delay is a goal, which really sucks because the match didn't feel like that was about to happen. But it is what it is. And then the 81st minute though, after that is whenever things start to kind of fall apart for Atalanta. Ederson gets a yellow for dissent. And then he's walking away and then decides to turn around and starts clapping in the ref's face and then gets a second yellow and then it gets sent off. And it's like, okay, now Atalanta are down 10 men with a final 10-minute plus of this match. And this very well could decide the title race. And, you just do that stupid shit. Lautaro Martinez takes advantage of the numbers, though, gets the decisive second goal as he always seems to do. And then because he's pissed off, Gasparini, the Atalanta manager, gets sent off for dissent as well. And things are just popping off. The drama is high. Bastoni gets sent off for a second yellow in stoppage time for Inter, and man, it's just going crazy. The rails, it's falling off the rails. But the result puts Inter ahead by 6 points from Atalanta in third. But they're still only 3 points ahead of Napoli, as Vic was just telling us. So it doesn't call the title race, but it does, in my opinion anyway, eliminate Atalanta as contention for the title, for the Scudetto at this point, Vic. But overall, what a drama-filled game. And that's what you want to see whenever you're watching these top-of-the-table clashes, Vic.
A lot of extracurriculars. Remember Coach P used to say that.
There you go.
You don't need to be over there doing all them extracurriculars over there and stuff.
Yes, exactly.
Extracurriculars.
Also, stop clapping in ref's face. I've seen it like 3 times now, and it like gets sent off. Like, just don't do it. You're not gonna get anything out of that. But before we get out of here, talking about the Serie A, I wanted to bring up Venezia because I know I mentioned it whenever we glossed over, but I didn't want to just gloss over that result because they held Napoli to a 0-0, and that's again 4 draws in a row where they've held Napoli, Como, Atalanta, and Lazio. Like, that is ridiculous for a team that is second bottom right now. And when I say second bottom, that is weird to just say and not be like some people say that. So just know they're the second to last team in the Serie A, and they've had those 4 results. But just feels like they should be getting more out of those. Not necessarily those games, but out of this season, I guess, as a whole. Okay. Good job, Venezia. Hey, they keep their badge for that.
Keep it up. Know? Yeah, they keep their badge still. Good job.
Okay. Well, that is all for the Serie A. Let's move on to Spain, Vic.
Let's do it. To La Liga.
Okay. Smooth. Boy, smooth. In La Liga, there were some crazy games here as well. The teams were showing off because we got an international break coming up. They were showing off right before this break. And it all kicked off on Friday. Las Palmas leave it late, but the comeback from 2 goals down to draw 2-2 with Alaves. Alaves was the better team all night, but a late penalty followed up by a nasty shot from Molero sends the home fans into pandemonium. And this was in front of royalty as well, Vic. I didn't know if you know this because the queen of this year's Carnival in Las Palmas or wherever that area is was in the house. And she was, first off, she wasn't bad looking, and she did the ceremonial first kick of the ball, but she didn't just kick it, Vic. She went up and she did a Rabona. Like, I mean, yes, the attractiveness just kept going up. Yeah, you need to fly out there right now and go get her.
I gotta check this out for research purposes, of course.
Yes, research purposes, of course. On Saturday, Celta get 3 points in a 1-0 win over Valladolid. Valladolid have looked terrible all season, but this was not one of those terrible matches, Vic. I know at Valladolid, this wasn't one of them. Both teams missed chances, but Valladolid will feel like they should have gotten something from this match. It was a little cruel that Celta got the win here. Mallorca got 3 much-needed points in a 2-1 win over Espanyol after drawing 3 straight in La Liga. But they got the decisive goal after a penalty that was saved, was retaken after VAR intervention. It feels icky to get the 3 points that way. It was kind of weird, and I didn't really like it, but Mallorca don't care. They get 3 points from this one. Villarreal fall at home 2-1 against Real Madrid. Mbappe was just ridiculous all night, and specifically for that second goal when he gets off a perfect strike, even though he had little time, he wasn't set, he was falling over, didn't matter, he scores. But you can tell Real Madrid are worn out because they get up in matches, or they've gotten up in matches recently, and then they just kind of survive. They just hold on, knowing that they're better than most teams when they do. But that's exactly what happened here. I don't know what happened to my mic, guys. That was weird, but we're getting right back on track. We had a really good close match between Girona and Valencia that ends 1-1. Diego Lopez got the scoring started for Valencia as he nets his 3rd goal in 3 games, but Christian Stuani scored a ridiculous header to level up the home side and split the points. On Sunday, I said on the preview show that it didn't look like anyone was slowing down Real Betis anytime soon, and they make it 5 straight wins in La Liga with a 3-2 win over Leganés. Leganés didn't go down easy, though. In fact, they went up 2 goals thanks to a brace from Dani Raba, but Betis showed grit, dug down, and got it done. What a great match. And, Vic, I think it's all because Anthony is there now. Let's say the GOAT he had arrived. Bilbao get a massive result on the road as they beat Sevilla 1-0. To my eyes, at least, Sevilla looked like the better side for most of the match until Bilbao turned it on late and get the go-ahead goal in the 83rd minute and end Sevilla's unbeaten streak at 4. Getafe make it back-to-back wins as they beat Osasuna 2-1. Getafe haven't scored much this season. They have they have the joint second fewest goals in La Liga. But if Ramon Terats can score like he did in this one for his brace, they will be tough to beat. It was a really, really good showing from Getafe. Rayo Vallecano and Real Sociedad split the points in a 2-2 draw, and good Lord, there were so many great goals in this one. Just check out the highlights. I don't think either team they deserve a loss here, so I think a draw was very good for them. And then it was an incredible comeback from Barcelona as they beat Atleti 4-2, and we'll talk more about that one here in a second. But Vic, break down that table for us after this match day.
Yes, sir. Well, on the top of the table is still Barcelona. They have 60 points. They are tied with Real Madrid, though, in the number 2 spot with 60 points as well, although Barcelona does have a game in hand. And in the 3rd spot is Atletico Madrid. They have 56 points, just 4 points behind both of them. So they're still in the running here to make some noise at the top 1 or 2 in the table. And then rounding out our top 4 is Atletico Bilbao, Athletic Club, or Bilbao, however you want to call them. They're 4 points behind Atletico Madrid. They have 52 points. And then tickling our top 4 is Villarreal with 44 points. And the reason I'm calling them out is because tickling Villarreal is Real Betis, who are on a 5-game win streak, like you said, with 44 points as well. And I see them just leapfrogging Villarreal, at least for the time being. I'm pretty certain on that as well.
Yeah.
Also, funny thing I saw on the internet was top 3 best players in soccer or football history, and it was like Ronaldo, Messi, and then it was Antony after leaving Real or Man United. Like, just because he's changed everything. So also want to throw that in there. So good job, Real Betis. You guys are turning it around, and it looks really good. So and if we take a look at the bottom of the table, Real Betis did get a win over this team, Leganes. They have 27 points and now in relegation because Deportivo Alaves got a draw and is able to leapfrog them on goal differential. So they are actually out of relegation now in the 17th spot, Leganes in the 18th spot in relegation. And then behind them is Las Palmas with in the 19th spot with 25 points. And behind them is, holy guacamole, my Volidolies, Real Valladolid, still 16 points that they have in total for the whole season, which is crazy, and doing their best to stay on the bottom with 2 straight losses. Not looking good for them. Turn it around, Valladolid. Let's get this together. And
I think it's a little too late for that.
Come on, I know I'm just gonna say it every week anyway, but. Snooze, I watched these highlights probably like 3 or 4 times because I was like, man, this is freaking awesome. Tell us about this Barcelona game. Well, they weren't the only one in there. Barcelona.
Yeah, I know, right? Pretty much,
and,
you might
yeah,
as well.
Yeah, because it was freaking awesome to watch, man. It was really
It was. And honestly, like after the match, I just sat there and was just like, wow, like that really just happened. I mean, it's crazy because I said that for 2 matches at that same stadium for Atleti, and they both lost them, right? They lost both of them against Real Madrid and Barcelona. And this one was crazy. Atleti were up 2-0 in the 70th minute of this one, and they were in the driver's seat right before the collapse started. And it just, at that point, you felt like it was just going to be a really big result for Atleti. But a minute and a half after their second goal, Bobby Lou Lewandowski pulls one back and kind of makes the momentum and atmosphere stall and start to worry a little. You know, you start to feel the atmosphere change just a little bit through the TV even. And then Rafinha's filthy assist, maybe a shot, not sure. But either way, it's headed home by Ferran Torres in the 77th minute to level it up. And now the stadium is absolutely silent with worry, except for the Barca fans. They were going crazy. And then the collapse was complete for Atleti, or the comeback for Barca, whichever way you want to call it, because depending on how you look at it, in the 91st minute in stoppage time, Yamal's deflected shot creeps over the keeper, sending the Barca fans and coaches into a frenzy. They had a little mosh pit going on. It was insane. But man, I mean, there was still 5 minutes of stoppage time after that goal, and it felt like it was already over. But then Ferran Torres pours salt in the wound, bags his brace, and the match ends 4-2, and they didn't even start the scoring until the 71st minute for Barca anyway. And this was one of the craziest matches I've seen in a while, outside of the Leverkusen match that happened just a little bit before that. But, you know, the way that 70-plus minutes of a match had gone, and there was no indication that this was going to be how it was going to end. I mean, that's the beauty of the game, I guess. Maybe not if you're Atleti, but yeah, it was a really good match. It was crazy to watch. The no good, very bad week for Atleti is just continuing Again, we're talking about it back-to-back brutal defeats at home against Barcelona, against Madrid. And man, I don't know. I don't want to say that it eliminates them from the La Liga title, but it definitely puts Barcelona right there in the driver's seat to get it done. And I said in the preview that maybe the mental and physical fatigue from the derby match in the Champions League would take its toll. And it's hard to say that this was kind of the case because they were good for 70 minutes. Like Atleti looked like the better team, or not better team, but at least like they were going to win the match. But you're up 2-0 in the 70th. Like that's crazy. It's just they tailed at the tail end of the match. I don't know how to say that better. They started to drop off at the end of the match, and Barcelona dominated, had their chance after chance in stoppage time, and they get it done. Just a crazy match, crazy match.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe that I watched that happen.
They definitely took advantage of their opportunities they had, and yeah, it was just fun to watch. I didn't watch the whole match. I almost wanted to go back and watch the whole match because just the highlights were like, oh my god, no way. And I just imagine, I was like, God, can you imagine being a Barca fan and just having that happen? Like, it was just fun. But
the first goal that Atleti got was like a beautiful, like just 1-2 passing, and you just don't see that from a team like Atleti against Barcelona. You expect to see it from Barcelona going the other way. But man, the way that it ended up happening and everything unfolded, you just felt like Barcelona are destined, man. They're destined to win La Liga at least.
Yeah. And they still have a game in hand, so they can go up 3 points. And I mean, they're in the driver's seat. It's going to be up to them. They're going to be the only ones that will take them out of that number 1 spot. And we'll see how the rest of the season goes. And I know you.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. If it's still soccer related, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say, and I know that there's still one more El Clasico in La Liga left. So God, that's gonna be an awesome match. Oh, it's coming up. It's gonna be so awesome. The only other thing I was gonna say before we get out of here, for as far as being in La Liga, is that in the comments in YouTube, when I do my research, I'm on there looking at the videos. I was doing the Athletic Club and Sevilla match, and I put, man, Bilbao has really struggled in this game, but they got the win, or whatever I put. And a Bilbao, someone who's from Bilbao and is a fan of the team, said, hey, we don't call them Bilbao over here, we call them Athletic Club. No one calls them by the city name. And if you know me, I always say, like, I don't know, your teams better than we do. We're just covering it as a whole, as the league as a whole. And I've asked this before a couple of times, so it's pretty cool that someone actually said it. So like the other one that I don't know, Eintracht Frankfurt. Do they say Frankfurt? Do they say Eintracht? I don't know. But this one now is done and dusted. Everybody says it's Athletic Club. So, I say Atleti for Atletico Madrid. So I guess I'm going to say Athletic for this team. But they're not Bilbao, apparently. I just, anyway, wanted to call that out because, I'm not a douche. I'll call your team what they're supposed to be called. So anyway, sorry, Vic. Over to you.
No, I will make my adjustments and I'll do the same thing.
Yeah.
Wait. One, so I just wanted to do this on camera so you can watch the magic. This is one drop here. Look how green that is. That's crazy. While I'm doing this, do you know where else Lamine Yamal was at this past week? Snooze? Tell everybody.
Yes.
Where was he at?
Yes. Vic was very excited that he was at AEW or whatever.
No, he was at WWE.
WWE. Sorry.
WWE. Yeah, he was watching wrestling, which was freaking awesome to see him there.
Yeah, you put the picture in our chat with he had the belt. He had
a belt and everything. He was going off, and man, you need to get into wrestling. It's fun to watch.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. He's like 19-year-old kid, so wrestling.
Anyway, I just want to bring that up. Anyway.
Okay. Well, okay. Let's move on then. Let's go to Germany.
Let's do it then. To Bundesliga.
Yes, and again, the matchups right before the international break kind of delivered. Man, we had a great weekend. It all kicked off on Friday. St. Pauli get 3 much-needed points in a 1-0 win over Hoffenheim. St. Pauli took advantage of some sloppy possession as Hoffenheim attempted to play out of the back, and that was it. St. Pauli get their first win in 5 matches. On Saturday, Gladbach and Bremen combined for 6 goals as Gladbach gets a 4-2 win on the road. Gladbach continue to hover or tickle the top 6 thanks to the hat trick from Alassane Playa. Union Berlin get a massive result with a 1-1 draw against table toppers Bayern Munich. Watching the match after Union got their goal in the 82nd minute, it was all Union as Bayern were just trying to hold on and survive. What a result for Union. And I think in the preview, I had to call myself out because I was like, can Union make it 2, results in a row? And said absolutely not against Bayern. And they did. So, what do I know?
And also, before you move on, dude, take me to a Union fucking freaking match, dude. That's how excited I am. Did you see the crowd?
Awesome. Yes, they're always there.
They are crazy, dude. I was just, I watched this one like 3 or 4 times as well. These highlights. I was like, man, that crowd is insane. That is awesome. The whole environment, like the way the stands are made. Dude, oh my god, it looked freaking awesome. Take me.
We add it to the add it to the bucket list. All right, it's on the bucket list now. 100%. We're going to Union Berlin soon.
Union, yes.
And actually, funny that you say that because another match coming up, I'm talking about the environment in the highlights here. But Mainz and Freiburg finished 2-2, and we'll talk about that one here in a second. But Augsburg extended their unbeaten streak to 10 matches and make it back-to-back wins with a 1-0 home win over Wolfsburg. And I had to count and recount because a 10-game streak. How is no one talking about Augsburg as a team that's coming up in the league? But, whenever I was looking at it, though, I think it's because they haven't won a lot because it just didn't make sense. How could a team that has 10 straight unbeaten matches still be mid-table? But I think it's just because that table is so tight, as we'll see here in just a moment. Vic, I'm excited for you to break it down for us. The race for the European places in the Bundesliga is going to be ridiculous. Leipzig get a 2-0 home win against Dortmund as the misery continues to compile for Dortmund. I always hear about how Leipzig has fake fans and whatnot, how they're like not a real club because they're just kind of bought in by the Red Bull team or the Red Bull company, whatever you call them, umbrella. But after Xavi Simons' goal, that arena erupted. And it's funny that Vic called out Union because this one gave me chills watching it through the screen. And, I'm not saying that people that dislike Leipzig for whatever reason is not true, but all I'm saying is I got FOMO in that moment. And I want to add them to the bucket list too. So it seems like we just need to go stay in Germany and go to all these Bundesliga matches for a month or two.
We got a trip to do. Yep.
Yes, we do. And on Sunday, Bochum lose at home 3-1 to Eintracht Frankfurt. Again, one of those names is Eintracht. Is it Frankfurt? You let us know. You know your team better than us. But it was closer than the score shows. Bochum missed a sitter of all sittas, as they say, in stoppage time to level it. And then they give up the third goal minutes later, which is just brutal whenever you do that. And it ends, just brutal ending for Bochum. But Frankfurt needed this result to stop their skid of 3 straight Bundesliga losses. Double H are back, baby. That is Heidenheim. And they get just their first win in 10 matches as they beat Kiel at home 3-1. That result makes the battle for survival and the relegation playoff spot very, very tight, as Vic will show us here in just a moment. Leverkusen come back to beat Stuttgart 4-3 on the road in what was one of the craziest comebacks you will see for a while until you watch that Barca Atleti game. Stuttgart were up 3-1 going into the 70th minute before Leverkusen stormed back. Frimpong was so good all night, and they almost forgot that they were Leverkusen, but we call them never losing Leverkusen, whatever you want to say. But with Bayern's shock draw, they couldn't catch they couldn't catch them, right? Like, there's no way. But they get the win here, and it makes sense. And I don't know, we're only 6 points away now, Vic. But I'm still in your thunder here. Show us the table and tell us where we're at, man.
Yeah, I got you. Bayern Munich are on top, like you just said. They have 62 points, and then 6 points behind them. Bayern Leverkusen, with their win, cuts the lead down to just 6. They have 56 points. In the third spot is Mainz. Mainz are still there with 45 points, tied with Eintracht Frankfurt, who also have 45 points. They are in the number 4 spot. And then tickling the top 4 is RB Leipzig. Like you said, they were able to leapfrog Freiburg. With their win, they got 42 points. Freiburg now in the 6th spot with 42 points as well. Of course, down on goal differential. They have a negative goal differential. They're the only ones in the top 8. Which is pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy that they're up there. So, weird. And if we take a look at the bottom of the table, the 2 teams who would be relegated if the season ended today, they just played each other. Heidenheim are in the 17th spot. They have 19 points after beating Holstein Kiel, who are in the 18th spot with 17 points. So Heidenheim able to leapfrog Holstein Kiel, getting out of the bottom of the table, and they're just 1 point behind Bochum, as all the announcers say. They have 20 points. Bochum does in the 16th spot. So Heidenheim hoping to bring this win and get them some momentum to get out of that relegation zone. and it'll be pretty tough. We're gonna see how that goes about. But like I said a little earlier, we were talking about how RB Leipzig was able to leapfrog Freiburg, and that's because they had a draw with Mainz. Tell us a little bit more about that show. I almost call it a show, but it was a game.
It's pretty much a show,
Yeah.
And it was a big battle, and what a battle it was between two European hopefuls. But I have to say, Vic, in this one, there was an early red card for Mainz, and it kind of let me down because they had a player sent off in the first half, and then after that, of course, your whole game plan changes, and they had to play for so long with 10 men that they never really got going. Freiburg dominated the match as you expect with 24 shots and 8 of them on target, and that was compared to Mainz's 9 shots with 4 on target. Again, a man up from that early on, you would think that, that would happen. And Freiburg leveled it after the break until Hans Olsen put the home side up against the run of play, which is just insane because Mainz got a goal before they got a man sent off, and you would expect that they would just kind of hold on to that. But after Freiburg leveled it, they kind of opened it up a little bit more, which made me even more intrigued to see, man, if we would have saw this game for 11-on-11 for the full 90, how would this have turned out? But I mean, really, the pressure was turned on for Freiburg after they went down a goal and being up a man, and the pressure was just too much for the 10 minutes of mine. They couldn't hold them back, and they ended up getting a 1-1 draw or 2-2 draw, as I was saying. And unlike the last week where the top end of the table sucked, this weekend nobody in the top 7 lost. So that draw also allowed Leipzig to creep back up, and Augsburg is now right there as well, as we were just talking about. That table was so congested, and a draw really didn't help either Mainz or Freiburg, but Mainz will probably feel, because they had a man down, that this was a point that they got versus points dropped. And I was hoping this match would bring a definitive answer to which one of these teams is going to be poised to get into Europe. But now your guess is as good as mine, Vic. I have no idea how it ends up because, I mean, like you were just showing us the table. It is so congested from 10th or from 9th all the way up to 4th place, really. So, yeah, I mean, 3 points is really what I was hoping for here. We got 1. So, man, this is going to go down to the wire.
Yep, that's a 7-point differential that you were talking about. Eintracht Frankfurt at 45 points, and then Augsburg, well, actually just underneath them, Stuttgart have 37 points. That's 8-point differential between 4th and 11th. So anything can happen there, and there are some European spots up for grabs, and it's gonna be a fun end of the season, man. It's gonna be fun.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Okay, and that is it for the Bundesliga. Now let us turn our attention to England, Vic.
Let's do it to the Prem.
This match day was a little shortened, at least on the day, as we talked about last on the preview. Liverpool had already played Aston Villa, I believe, back, and then Newcastle are playing Crystal Palace in a few weeks. And reason is because they were in the Carabao Cup final. So before we jump into these, Vic, let's talk about that match for a couple minutes. We don't have to dwell on it. You go ahead. I'll let you go.
It was a little hard to watch, man. We had a rough week. We were, knocked out of the Champions League, and then we had this Carabao Cup that we were like, okay, we'll at least get 2 trophies. And
no big deal.
Yeah, like I said earlier, man, when I was in the Austin FC minute, Liverpool just didn't look like they were there because they had a game scheduled. It didn't look like they were there to win a trophy. It didn't look like they were there to hustle, to like put it on anybody, to like go away with the win. It was just like, they're contractually obligated to be at this game. And it kind of looked that way too in the last UCL game or Champions League game. And then also, I would say a little bit in the last Premier League game. But it's kind of hard to watch. And, it's cool because, Newcastle hasn't won a trophy since 1300. I forgot. I don't know what it was. But no, it was like 70 years. So I don't know. It was 1930 or something like that. So I'm considering it, Liverpool did their community service for the year. We gave Newcastle United a win. They haven't won it forever. We gave Plymouth Argyle a win. Who would have thought that would have happened? We did good this year. All right.
PSG, you're trying to break the curse for them too in the Champions League.
Yeah, exactly. So, we're doing our best outside of the Premier League. So wasn't our best showing, and
I have a question for you though, because as a Liverpool fan, as the resident Liverpool fan here, so you start off the season, expectations kind of high, but not really because we have a new coach after losing Klopp for so many years, and then the season starts the way that it does, and you guys got a little carried away there, thinking, hey, we're going to win every trophy here, everything that we're in, we're going to win it, and now you're only in one real competition left. Well, I mean, it is only one, and that's the Prem, which they've locked up. They locked it up months ago. So does the Premier League title kind of overshadow everything else that they've lost, or is there like a little bit of a skid mark on that because of how things have ended in the season?
I say there's a little bit of a skid mark, but I think once we lift that Premier League trophy, we'll kind of forget about all this and we'll just go on. And, it's also, like you said, Slot's first year. We have a lot of growing to do, although I think we might even be close to a rebuilding age. I don't know. But, I don't know. It's a little bit of skid, but we're still going to hopefully leave with a trophy unless something crazy happens. We're still going to lift some hardware and add it to our big old trophy shelf. And, it'll be
it's
good.
A good one. If they only won the Carabao Cup and they didn't win anything else, that'd be different, right? But
yes,
if you're winning
100%.
Prem,
yes.
You know what I mean? It's it just what as a non-biased watcher of this kind of, I don't want to say collapse because it's not. You're still winning the Prem, but you get what I'm saying. It feels like Slot he didn't bring many people in. He didn't really change the system too much. And so to me, this is basically Klopp's team. And so what Slot did was come in and say, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And they kind of, able to coast in the Prem because they're beating teams that they're obviously better than. But then when it starts getting to like the tail end of the season where the teams get, the stakes get a little higher, you're playing the amped up final with Newcastle, playing one of the better looking teams in Europe, then it becomes not Klopp's thing. It becomes Slot. How can you coach this out of this team? And it just didn't happen, which, I mean, it's year one. I'm not talking shit. I'm just saying that's what it felt like to me, is like you could get by for the Prem because you can just win all the games early in the season and kind of coast, which, changes drastically when you're getting to cup finals and knockout rounds of the Champions League. Not to say that he won't win this all next year. Maybe he will, but the teams, they might lose a few big pieces of it. I just saw how Luis Diaz, he has a way out of his contract too. So
Salah, Virgil,
exactly.
Trent,
so maybe we get to see the true Slot, not with Klopp's team next year, and we'll see where it goes. Maybe.
Yeah, I will say that whenever like the beginning of the year, whenever Slot started, and we'll get off this. I know this isn't a Liverpool podcast, you guys, where we'll get off this real quick. Whenever Slot started, it felt like one of the best ways I heard it put was that this Liverpool team was a huge, like, just revved up, straight up high RPMs in a car. And then when you had Slot in there, you just shifted gears up and it was just like smooth running perfectly. And that was great. Beginning of the season, it obviously worked great, but now we need them high rev. We need them high RPMs. We need that Klopp ball, and it's just not there. And I feel like we're just missing that little step that would help us. Some of that counter attack, some of that, just throwing the ball in the box. And I feel like we're missing that right now. And hopefully we get back to it. I think this international break was put us back on track. So we'll see what happens.
Yep. They only have one thing to focus on now, so maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
Jump into the Prem on Matchday 29 on Saturday. Everton and West Ham draw 1-1, and it's now 6 unbeaten matches for Everton, but 4 straight draws. Both teams will take the point, but neither team looked great at the moment. Everton's goal was so sweet, though. I got to call it out because Danny P, I don't want to say this on camera, but I have to. He probably popped a little chub there because the header was great. The 2 passes prior were amazing. I mean, just chef's kiss all the way around. Everton's goal was awesome. Jorgen Strand Larsen's brace was enough to give Wolves all 3 points against Southampton in a 2-1 win. And I think we've all known for a while, but this kind of confirms it, that the 3 teams are going down are Ipswich, Southampton, and Leicester. Ipswich Town, speaking of, get their 4th loss in a row as they fall 4-2 to Nottingham Forest. And the 2 goals really do flatter Ipswich, as it was 3-0 and well out of hand before they got their 2 goals. Forrester cruising towards a top 4 finish. And bros, what a fun match we had between City and Brighton. It ends 2-2, and we get a bit of everything here. We have Holland penalty, Estupinian free kick. That was awesome. An absolutely filthy Marmouche goal, and a City own goal. And man, it was just a great way to start the weekend. And what a great match to watch. Bournemouth lose at home 2-1 to Brentford. Before the match, they said that Brentford are the only team that Bournemouth have faced in the Premier League and never beaten. And that streak continues as Bournemouth continue their slide of results. And on Sunday, it was a tightly contested 1-0 win for Arsenal over Chelsea. We'll break this down here in a second. And then Fulham get all 3 points in a 2-0 win over Spurs. And it felt like we were headed for a 0-0 draw until the 78th minute when Muniz scored. And then Ryan Sessegnon gets his Spurs revenge and embarrasses the Spurs defense, gets a beautiful goal to put the game to bed. Not a good showing for Spurs. Leicester looked truly awful as they lost at home 3-0 to Manchester United. And I said in the preview that United needed to play a team like Leicester to just get some oomph back. And they got some swagger back for sure. This result, 3-0, and they just look really good in this one. But, of course, everybody looks good against Leicester. Okay, Vic, where does the table stand after match day 29?
Yes, the table still looks great. Don't worry about it, Snooze. Liverpool are so on top. They have 70 points, and they are a clear 12 points ahead of Arsenal in the number 2 spot, who have 58 points. Nottingham Forest are in the 3rd spot with 54 points, 4 points behind them. And Chelsea round out our top 4 with 49 points. Pretty great to see them there because Manchester City are tickling our top 4. They have 48 points. And, they just had a draw. Luckily, I'm hoping that I'm trying to be a hater. I swear I'm trying to be a hater more on them. They got a draw, they dropped some points. And I am now a Newcastle fan. Since Newcastle didn't play this week, they actually play April 12th. And they play, I forgot right now, but they play April 12th.
I think Crystal Palace.
Okay. So, they have a game in hand. They have 47 points right now, giving them a possible 50 points, which would put them in the 4th spot, which would put Chelsea in the 5th spot and would knock Manchester City outside of the European tournament spots. And that would be freaking awesome for me. So I'm a Newcastle fan now. They beat us, and yeah, you can go now, Newcastle. Go do good. But if you look at the bottom of the table, the 3 teams that would be relegated if the season ended today were the ones that just got here. Ipswich Town, they have 17 points, tied with Leicester City, who also have 17 points. And then, boy, oh boy, Southampton still have not broken the double digits. They have 9 points after 29 games. And, on a 5-game losing streak, not looking good at all for them. And you think they will break double digits by the end of the season? It's tough to say, but hopefully if they get a draw, they'll be able to do it. So.
Yeah, I would expect them to get at least a point or 2 between now and the end of the season.
Yeah,
hopefully.
You would hope so. Yeah, I don't know if it'll do them much good. They're definitely getting relegated by the end of the season. So, but yeah, like I said a little bit earlier, I'm trying to hate as much as possible. So although I was going for Chelsea, so that that gap would be a little bit better for Chelsea and Man City in the 4th and 5th spot. It didn't happen. Chelsea got a loss and Arsenal were able to win. Tell us more about that match this past weekend.
Well, yeah, we had this match going on, and we had the Newcastle and Liverpool match going on, and so obviously not at the same time, but just in general, it's kind of like the teams that were showing off, like who's really the better team, Liverpool or Arsenal. I'm just kidding. It's not even close, Vic. I'm just trying to piss you off right now. Arsenal, they get a win for sure, but it was really close. And Chelsea, they looked horrible in the first half defensively. Like they just looked like they were all over the place. Arsenal could have win up multiple goals, but they didn't. And they ended up getting that 1-0 win thanks to Mikel Moreno header. And it's just no striker, no problem for them. They get it done. They move on. I think what's the gap now between y'all, Vic? Like only 15 points now, something like
12
that.
Points. Only 12 points.
Yeah, something like that. So it's ridiculous. I think that Arsenal definitely are just focusing more on their upcoming massive tie with Real Madrid in the Champions League. But they do get 3 points here. And Chelsea are, I don't want to say turmoil because they're still in the very top echelon of teams. But, all the protests and stuff that are happening, this doesn't help at all. And particularly how bad they looked in that first half. And that's it. I'll cut it short there because we already went well over time. And yeah, Vic, we had a lot to talk about, though, a lot to discuss. It was a big weekend, but now everybody can go and enjoy their international break, watch your teams for your country, root whatever tournaments they're in. There's a lot going on. And we haven't talked about it yet, actually. I don't know if we're going to have a show coming up, but we'll at least see you sometime in the next couple weeks. Okay.
Yes.
Vic, take us home.
Good enough. Again, everyone, thank you for spending some time with us tonight, or day, however, wherever you're talking or whenever you're listening to us. We appreciate it. Again, like and subscribe and comment down below. Let us know what you guys liked most about this past weekend, and tell us about your international team. Who you voting for? Who are you going for this weekend? And yeah, we'd love to talk to you guys some more. Everyone, enjoy the football this weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.